Hi, I am Alexandra Bracken. I'm the author of Silver in the Bone. This is a contemporary fantasy that's like a mystic Indiana Jones with an Arthurian twist. And it is a story of 17-year-old Tamsin. She and her brother have grown up in this world of secret treasure hunters who seek out magical relics. And she is in search of one, the Ring of Dispel, said to be capable of breaking any enchantment, including maybe the curse that her brother has been suffering. And that journey takes her and some friends into the cursed other land of Avalon. And so the passage I'm going to read you, just to set it up a little, Tamsin and her rival, perhaps something more, Emerus, have been searching the underpaths of the tower in Avalon in search of the ring or just information on what's actually causing the curse on the isle. All right. On our third night of searching, I arrived in the Great Hall a little earlier than I'd intended, and Emerus wasn't there. There was only a smattering of wood shavings dusting the floor under his usual spot at the table. The scant trail led to the hidden door, carelessly left open a sliver. He went ahead without me. The thought left me hollow at my core. I didn't know why I was surprised either. Emerus might have called a truce, but it wasn't a partnership. It had never been, and it would never be. Clearly, he'd found something he had no intention of sharing with me. My thoughts sputtered in futile circles as I stepped inside and shut the door behind me. I didn't have my flashlight, but I now knew my way down over the steps and roots well enough to navigate them. My eyes slowly adjusted to the darkness, but there was no need. Up ahead, the lone beam of Emerus's headlamp turned the corner. I followed, my steps quick and light as I took each curve. Once or twice I was tempted to call out to him, to let him know that he hadn't managed to pull a fast one on me, but each time I stopped myself. More than anything, I wanted to know what he was doing down here alone, what he hadn't wanted me to see. Rather than continue down the long hall to the storage chamber, Emerus turned the corridor choked by roots, turned and stretched a trembling hand out toward them. And this time, instead of reaching back, the roots receded, inviting him into their depths. He stepped through. The roots began to brave themselves together behind him. A strangled noise escaped my throat as I rushed forward, pushing and weaving my way through them. Their rough skin slid against mine, squeezing in on all sides. The branching limbs wove around me, blocking the way forward. The sight of Emerus became smaller as the living wall closed between us, and for one terrifying moment, I thought the roots would crush me alive. "Emerus!" I shouted. A root slid across my throat and tightened, only to release. The roots cracked as they twisted and lifted away, revealing a shocked Emerus. I shot forward, colliding with him. He caught me with a gasp of surprise. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "What am I doing here?" I croaked, shoving back at him. "What are you doing here? I thought we were..." I couldn't get the words out, but they were there in my throat, aching. "I thought we were doing this together." He shook his head, and for the first time I realized he looked dazed, the way he had the first night he'd brought me down into the passage. I heard something." "You always hear something, right?" I asked. "The mother tree must be talking to you every second of every day." "No," he said, gripping my arm again, stilling me. "No, I heard a voice, a man's voice." My lips pressed together in a tight line, and I cocked my head to the side, studying the deepening shadows beneath his eyes again. "Have you slept at all since we got here?" Emerus said nothing, leading me forward. He put a hand out, and the roots that had knotted together in front of us fell to our feet and drew back, rattling over the stones. The beam of his headlight swept out. The floors and the walls were scarred with burns and pocked with missing stones, as if some tremendous fight had blistered them. Ahead, the hall ended abruptly with a bulging mass of rough wood. "Is that..." I began. "Part of the mother tree," Emerus finished, taking a step forward. "I think so." Exchanging a quick look, we moved toward it. From the shadows, the raised edges of bark at its center began to take shape. Two hands pressing out as if desperate to escape. A twisted torso, what might have been a head. "I've seen some creepy things in my day," I began. "This looks like it came out of their nightmares." Emerus took a step forward, and the being opened its eyes. Flakes of bark fell to the ground as the creature, the monster, whatever it was, tried to return to us, to open its mouth. I gripped at Emrys's arm, trying to draw him back. He didn't move. He didn't seem to be breathing. The creature's lips parted with a horrifying snap, and gleaming beetles spilled forth through the stringy sap. I pressed in closer to Emrys, watching in horror as the insects scattered around us. "Who comes here?" the creature rasped. "Who seeks the knowledge of the ages?" Neither of us spoke. I hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek.